no in this.
Council, please come to order. Will be joined in prayer by Alderman Nystrom.
Almighty God, we ask for your blessings upon the members of this council as we assemble here in this chamber to conduct the ongoing business of our city. With your guidance, we will strive to ensure that all our decisions are for the common good, and your inspiration will instill respect, compassion, and thoughtfulness in all our deliberations. Give us the strength and wisdom to lead by example as the people's representatives, and that peace and harmony will mark all our proceedings and keep us faithful to the trust placed on us by the citizens of your community. Amen.
Thank you very much. Alderman Nash.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, under petitions and communications, item 1, digital surveillance.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion to accept this?
Motion.
All right. Motion by Alderman Zakardi, second by Alderman Nystrom. Any discussions? Hearing none, roll call please. And just for record, we are joined with Alderwoman Hayes on the phone.
Alderman Nash.
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes. Yes. Alderman Kadambaya.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zakardi.
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom.
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia.
Yes.
Mayor Singh.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Petition and communication, item 2, various recently issued proclamations.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Alderman Nystrom, second. Can I have a second?
Second.
All right. Alderman Kadambaya. Roll call, please.
Alderman Nash.
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes. Alderman Kadambaya.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zakardi.
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom.
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia.
Yes.
Mayor Singh.
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Public hearing, item 1, an ordinance authorizing the use of automated traffic equipment, safety devices.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I declare a public hearing on this ordinance open. First, we will take people who are in favor of it. So I do have some names here. First one is Larry Rice. State your name for record. Thank you. One second, I think mic is turned off. Okay, you're good now. Thank you. Yes.
All right, first of all, thank you for Mr. Mayor and the City Council for doing this. I am here tonight to speak in favor of implementing speed cameras in Norwich. A few months ago, I forwarded newspaper articles regarding speeding cameras to the office of Mayor Singh. The speeding cameras had already been implemented in many Connecticut cities and were working fine. Thank you to Mayor Singh for forwarding this information to the Safety Committee, the Norwich City Council, and the Police Chief for further review that got us to this hearing tonight. There is definitely a speeding problem in Norwich, and you could even say reckless driving is a problem. City Council President Pro Tem Joe DeLucia was right in his comment to the day paper that there are more and more people who drive around the city like idiots. The benefits of speed cameras: reduce speeding violations, revenue for Norwich for safety projects, and reduce very dangerous motor vehicle stops that police officers have to make on a continuous basis. Police can't always be getting radar when busy with many other police duties, and what's the difference between radar for speeding or speeding cameras for speeding? An infraction ticket by radar is around $150, and that revenue goes to the state. A speeding camera violation would be around $50, and that revenue stays in Norwich. An infraction ticket could go against your license and insurance, where a speeding camera violation is a civil penalty and cannot affect your driver's license or insurance. It's more like a parking ticket. Cities with speed cameras show a very low percentage of their residents in violation. Most are from another city or state. This is because the people who live in the town know the speeding cameras are being utilized. People don't have a right to drive a motor vehicle. It's a privilege. And you definitely don't have a right to drive a motor vehicle recklessly on Norwich streets where innocent people can be harmed. I ask for the city council to support this ordinance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next name on the list is Susan Topping. Okay. Next one is Joanne Philbrick. Rocky.
Good evening, Rocky here. Once again, I want to make, and I'm going to be very calm tonight. Our family is elated that we have an 8th grandchild added to the family. So we're going to keep it calm. I urge you to understand the United States Constitution. I urge you to read it. The premise here, sure, it's about safety, but you want a revenue. You want to make money so that you can spend our money. You want to increase the intake so you can splurge and decide on a whim where this money is going. You've been doing this for decades. We, the citizens, are up to your tricks. I'm not going to call you names like some official called us. I'm not. Not even bully and tyrant tonight. I'm not going to say it. But you will obey the will of the people in spite of a few that don't see any harm. These speeding cameras will eventually collect information, which then whoever is in charge can choose to use it or not use it against we, the people. It's anti-constitutional. By the way, in some other jurisdictions, people have been arrested because there was a mistaken identity. They've been thrown in jail, and it was them driving. You will all be held accountable for what goes on with our lives, and if you don't put your little heads together and understand that the Constitution protects our freedom and liberties, I don't know what to tell you.
Thank you very much. Next one, we have Bob Danesha. Yes, Bob. We are taking actually in favor of cameras. So I think for the purpose of record, we will have to put Rockies in not in favor.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Bob Denisha, Whipple Avenue, Norwich. I'm not in favor, but I'm not against. Based on what's happening all around the city and the country, many contracts for these cameras are not being renewed by municipalities. And there's many reasons for that. Part of what Rocky mentioned, the constitutionality of it, the information. I would suggest, recommend, implore that you put this on hold until research is being done by those municipalities that are pulling their contracts. There's good reason, they think, to not renew that. And I think that before we jump into it, or we're not jumping because you people did a lot of research. Before we commit to the speed cameras, I think we ought to see what's happening around the state and around the country regarding these cameras. On the other hand, I am for them if they can be regulated successfully and absolutely, because speeding is out of control, like this gentleman said. There's a lot of idiots out there. My street, my little tiny Whipple Avenue is turned into a racetrack for electric bikes and motor scooters. I had to go out personally, stand in the street and tell the kids no more. And that's just one little street. So there are a lot of areas of this city that are subject to speeding. Asylum Street, I go to the dog park all the time. I've been doing 30 miles an hour and have been passed on Asylum Street while I'm doing 30 miles an hour. So yes, there is an absolute need, but I think there is also a need for caution based on what's happening around this state and the country on not renewing these contracts. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Bob. Anyone else who's in favor of it? Next name I have is James Cragnum. Not in favor of it. Okay.
Good evening. My name is James Carrigan, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak before you now. I have several questions, and as Bob just said, I think probably you should take some time and really think it out and plan it out before you implement it. The few years that I lived away from this neighborhood, I was in Maryland when they installed same kind of cameras. And the question was, who's going to pay for the installation? Who's going to pay for the maintenance of it? Could be a big expense on the town or the city. Well, they worked out some agreements where the company who manufactured that equipment and was responsible for installing it did it on their own expense. So they installed it for free and they maintained it for free. I don't like the idea of a profit-based corporation deciding what the standards are going to be for those speed cameras. Because if they need a little more revenue, maybe they can tweak the requirements or the rules or whatever and get a little more money out of us. In that case, it's basically a situation of you all versus us, the public. Because I got a feeling if you, by mistake, which happens a lot, even I could make those mistakes, drove through a camera, broke that rule or that law, whatever it's going to be, there'd be probably a little bit of consideration for you, for the members of the council, that I don't think the members of the public would receive. I'm not saying it's corruption, I'm just saying if I was a policeman, I'm not so sure I'd want to arrest one of the members of the city council. But if it was just a guy down the street, I wouldn't have those kind of concerns. The bottom line was, in those areas that I lived in down in Maryland, people hated those cameras, and they were the public, and they wanted them taken down. Sorry, they're already up. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Next name I have is David Burnett.
Good evening. I'm David Burnett. I've never done this before, so I'm a little nervous. I have a very simple story, and it leads me to think that the cameras are a good idea. Oh, a half a dozen years ago, I was driving on Route 1, the other side of Westerly, and I thought, oh, it just turned yellow. I'm going to get through that yellow light on time. Well, I didn't. I got a ticket in the mail, I don't know, a few weeks later. I remembered the incident well and thought, oh, they got me. Every time I drive through that area today or in the future, I drive more carefully. And if my wife's with me, she will always remind me. For me, it's a simple matter of being reminded, of being more careful and being a more careful driver. I see very little downside to these cameras, and I think it's something that the city ought to give serious thought to, and most likely do. And probably I'll drive more safely. Thank you.
Anyone else in favor? Last name on the list is Cassie. Okay. Second, anyone else who's in favor? Third and last, anyone else who's in favor? Sure. Yeah, please. Okay. Yeah, you can come over, Chief.
Good evening, Tom Lazaro. For the speed cameras, I've been listening to a bunch of the information. I've had the ability to talk to a lot of people about this. And it's funny, Mr. Burnett's story, I can totally understand it because it happened to me and actually someone I spoke with very recently. The speed cameras are a very different system, and I think sometimes where we're seeing some confusion between one of the other types of cameras, the LPRs, which, we have the flock ones, which we've had a number of conversations about, versus speed cameras. And there's a big difference between the two cameras themselves. So when these speed cameras are put into place, they're designed around basically the data-driven decisions. So where a speed camera is put in place is basically based upon where we see the most speed-related incidents. So before any camera is actually put into place, there is actually time where they do a speed review, where they put up a computer, they put up a sign, and they do this. Now, over the years, we have done that at the police department for different areas. Just looking in some areas in 24, we'll take Boswell Ave, and 527 to 26 to 612, we put one up on Boswell Ave for about 16 days. In that period, we saw 61,000 cars drive through on Boswell Ave, which is significant. During that time, the fastest speed clocked was 74 miles an hour. The average, obviously the speed limit in that area was 35 miles an hour, but the average speed was 30 miles an hour. So we do see that as a medium level speed issue, because again, where you see those differences is where that's going to market. The way that these speed cameras work is that the speed cameras only take photos of vehicles that are actually doing above the the decided speed. So let's say in this case, we'll use Middletown. Middletown, when they started their process, they said anything over 20 miles an hour. And they saw that at that point in time, since they've put them in place, they've seen an 85% reduction in speed in that area. So these speed cameras are only triggered by someone going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. And that's set by the community and what the speeds are. So we have control of that. The data is our data. It doesn't go to a company, it stays with us. Our data is our data. All of the folks that work around this, and depending on the organization, make a determination on how that data gets then put forward. These are civil penalties. These are not criminal penalties. So when you hear that someone was falsely arrested based upon a speed camera, it's impossible. Yeah.
Do you have more to add?
I do, but
Please.
When we take this up, we can call.
So when we do discussion, we'll call you and give that opportunity. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right, last call. Anybody else who'd like to speak in favor of it?
Good evening, Bob Maloff. I live at 1 Coit Lane in Norwich. I happen to be the chairman of the Golf Authority and had the opportunity in the not too distant past to call upon the Norwich Police Department for speeding on New London Turnpike in front of the golf course. We have two crosswalks that allow golfers to cross to and from the last three holes of the golf course. And I've actually not been involved in, but have witnessed a really bad accident in one of the crosswalks where a lady in a minivan with 4 young children, and it was rear-ended by a vehicle that was doing 45 miles an hour. After talking to the chief and the traffic control folks, we actually had them posted up over there for almost 2 weeks and issued over 45 tickets. Speed cameras are very, very different than the flock cameras that have been discussed, as the chief said. But I'm fully in favor of it. For no other reason, you can't expect a police officer to be posted on every road in the city of Norwich. And as you said, on Boswell Avenue, you know, if you post up a police officer there every day, that's taking away resources from other areas of the city where they're required. So I'm fully in favor of it, and I hope that you guys vote to move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of it? Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of it? Anyone else who'd like to speak in favor of it? All right, now let's start. Anyone who's opposed to this ordinance? First one is Susan Topping.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank City Council and our mayor for the wonderful work that they've been doing recently. I'm actually standing here completely confused. My understanding is that this is digital surveillance and that it's being sold to us, right, as a traffic violation enforcement, which I'm all for. And if our data is truly our data and it cannot be hacked or used by unauthorized personnel in any way, I get that. However, what we're looking at nationwide is that these systems are leading to a mass surveillance system that has been used already in terms of informal assistance to enable ICE, for example, and here in Norwich, given the cancellation of TPS, I think we need to be very, very cautious about our Haitian brothers and sisters to preserve some kind of safety for them. The other thing is it's also been used as a very famous case, Texas, where they tracked somebody who was leaving state for a pregnancy termination. The other problem, of course, with any kind of national surveillance is what's down the line. And what is down the line right now is photos, video, and informal searches, which are really problematic. Flock cameras, and whether or not the system can be linked to flock cameras, I'm still very unclear of, are also putting in place a business network, a national business network that will have the ability to blacklist companies or individuals. And of course, in terms of one's own individual kind of security, they are clearly able to track individual movements. I'm very concerned about unauthorized federal access. I'm very concerned about ICE and immigration enforcement. And I really want to stress that I think these are sold as a traffic violation enforcement tool, but it is really moving towards a nationwide mass surveillance. And we all know sort of basically what that can mean. I'm assuming that my time is almost up, so I'm going to end there. Again, thank you, City Council. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Next one on the list is Joanne Philbrick.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Philbrick. I recently suffered a significant brain injury, and so I have to keep it calm, and I might have a little trouble focusing. The cameras are foreign to me. I don't understand them. I don't understand who's going to pay for them. I don't understand how a police department that is already decimated is going to have the personnel to administer, data collect money, post the money to whatever account is. And the other thing is, I'm just going to say what I have to say. I find it offensive that the rights of American people, as opposed to temporary protective status or illegals, seem to be taking a priority over the rest of us. Many people in the community feel that way, but are afraid to say it. Your obligation is to the American people first. In my neighborhood, I have been talking with the police department for the last 10 years about the traffic and the speeding on Elm Avenue. Nothing has been done. Nothing. I've had enough. I have had enough. The cameras, I need to know the answers to the questions. If you had an informational before the public hearing so people could learn and ask questions, it would be beneficial. But you don't roll that way. You like to keep us in the dark. You like to keep us under your thumb. I know that there's no expectation of privacy anywhere anymore. And that's why I conduct myself accordingly. How about you start arresting all the ATVs and dirt bikes that scream around the neighborhood? How about you don't go after them? Are you aware of the lady in New Haven who recently was surrounded and almost dragged from her car by a group of these marauding individuals? And the police would not pursue them. You know what I say to people? Carry a gun in your car. Carry bear spray in your car. If the law is not going to protect us, then we will protect ourselves.
Thank you.
And I'll be back up here again tonight.
Next one on the list is Cassie. Hello.
Thank you. All right, so I want to start out by saying that I am not anti-camera.
Please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Cassie. And I'm not anti-camera. I'm not anti-police. I support safe neighborhoods and effective policing in a way that doesn't infringe on residents' rights. But like, this ain't it, all right? So just to lay some groundwork, I'm going to read an excerpt from Flock's recently changed terms and conditions, since I'm probably the only one in this room who's read the whole document. So in relevant part, you have section 4.1. Customer grants to Flock a limited, non-exclusive, royalty-free, irrevocable, perpetual worldwide license to use and disclose customer data to provide the Flock services and to use data to support and improve Flock services. Customer data will be available for Flock employees to access and download via the web interface during the applicable retention period. So in plain terms, that means that if Flock downloads my data during the retention period, which is still not in compliance with the state policy, they can keep it forever and sell it to whomever. So, with all of that in mind, I'm a little bit concerned that this new ordinance will allow the speed camera vendors to access my social security number, my phone number, my email address, my bank account info, and my credit and debit card numbers. I mean, I also noticed we have the citations. They are civilly enforced and not criminally, which is interesting because if a cop pulls me over, I have rights under the 6th Amendment and probably also the 4th Amendment. But with the civil enforcement, we just completely bypass all of that. We got a neat little loophole that we just, all done. So I'm thinking we, maybe instead of trying to spend so much time suppressing our First Amendment rights by policing hate speech, which, much as I hate to admit it, is protected speech, we should be focused on protecting our residents' Fourth and Sixth Amendment rights, because right now, city leadership is showing that they don't care about any of those. First, Fourth, Sixth Amendments, like this is not a good look. So, I mean, with all of that in mind, what reassurances can you guys give to the residents that we can trust you with more cameras? What independent studies on the safety and effectiveness of these cameras can you point to that would convince us to trust you? Because I mean, Public Safety Committee knows I have mountains of data showing otherwise. We also have to talk about the money. How much actually goes to the city? Because in Washington, Connecticut, it's only 30% and the other 70% goes to the vendor. That doesn't seem like a very good return on investment. Here's the thing though, speed cameras, they should be our last line of defense. All right, if we actually care about lowering speeding and making the streets safer and it's not just a low effort cash grab, we should be implementing traffic calming measures first. And honestly, right outside the entrance to City Hall, those cones in the road, that is a perfect example of calming measures. I wish we could do more of that.
Thank you. Opposed to this ordinance? Anyone else who'd like to speak opposed to this ordinance?
I'm quite sure some of you have been failing to read.
Please state your name for the record.
You already know what my name is, and I don't have to tell it to you 100 times.
Please state your name for the record, or you can be seated.
If I'm going to be seated, then come and seat me yourself.
Please state your name for the record.
I'm going to say this for the last time, Dan, and that's all you're going to get. So some of you Neanderthals have been living in your caves for who knows how long. I've been reading that there's a rebel group who's out there decimating the flock cameras left and right. Because unlike you, they realize that these cameras violate the rights of the First and Fourth Amendment, like the way you did with my brother when you arrested him, when you falsely arrested him for so-called trespassing. People do not like their information being indulged. I don't give a rat's ass who it is. But I know the reason that these rebels are taking down the cameras, and it's for that and that alone. The people, like these rebels, do not want an Orwellian-type society, because that's what the hell this is leading to. And I don't want my information, just like Ms. Joanne says, and everybody, they want their information protected from this farcical Orwellian rubbish. I, for one, do not want my information compromised, because if it is compromised, there will be liability. Liability that you will not be allowed to evade. And Ms. Joanne did raise the right question. How come you don't have the balls to go out to the ATV lunatics that are driving unlicensed motorbikes? Can somebody give me an answer to that, or maybe that's just too much for you to use your brain for thinking? I say that if these ATVs are caught, the ATVs should be impounded and sold to people, licensed drivers, who legitimately need them to get to work, to get to school, and everything in between. And any of these maniacs who drive those ATVs should have a 2-year suspension on their license. That is how you solve the speeding problem. And you don't solve it with a camera. And you don't solve it by stealing people's information. And most of all, you do not solve it by violating the First and Fourth Amendments of we, the people.
Talking about cameras.
Exactly.
Please conclude.
My conclusion pretty much says it all. You may want an Orwellian society with those flock cameras, but I can tell you, I sure as hell do not. This living here has turned into a total shambles thanks to each and every one of you. You made that possible. And the sad part is we're the ones who are paying the price. And that's a price for those cameras that I, for one, am not going to pay.
Thank you very much. Anybody else who'd like to speak in opposition of this? Yes, please.
Hi, Matt Simpson. I'm not in necessarily strong opposition, but I do have some general observations. One, it's a $50 to $70, $75 municipal fine. And you can appeal that locally. And then if you still don't like the decision of the local appeal, you can appeal to the Supreme Court or the Superior Court of Connecticut at a cost of $8. However, you'd have to process serve at a cost of somewhere between $50 and $100. So you almost de facto lose your rights unless you're petty like me. You know, I'd spend a couple $1,000 fighting a $50 ticket, but most people wouldn't.
I'm just curious about that process. Are we just passing an ordinance, or have we put real thought into how it works? Strict limits in the ordinance, things to that nature. What protects the speed from going from 20 to 3 someday? Let's say you decide we want 2 miles an hour, or strict adherence to, the law. The processes concern me. I have some questions about what rights we feel are violated from you guys. There's no expectation of privacy in public. Privacy has to be created, i.e. when you build your 4 walls, put a privacy screen over your phone. So I'm a little curious what rights we think are being violated, but I'm very curious about this process and how the process protects the people, the citizens of Norwich. Speed cameras in this case are made to change behavior, in this case speed. So we have to ask ourselves, is speed a problem in the city? And the answer is probably yes. But again, I'm very interested in that process and what protects the Norwich citizens from abuse, and what language would be included to do so. Thank you.
Much. Anyone else in opposition of this ordinance?
My name is Jacob, and I'm against these speed cameras because although I do agree that people that are speeding should be punished, honestly, I think people that are in violation of reckless driving aren't punished harshly enough, but I feel like we should find a better solution to deal with that because we as the citizens of Norwich and even the citizens of the country, why should we have someone constantly looking down our shoulder with these cameras? That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition? Anyone else in opposition?
Hi, good evening. My name is Felicia Adams, and I'm in opposition. When I moved to Norwich 4 years ago, I was really excited about coming here, about the cultural diversity. And when everything happened over these last few years, I was proud to know that Norwich, as well as the state, are both sanctuary cities. I feel like it is our duty and responsibility to protect our neighbors, members of our community, from any potential threats. I've heard people talk about the data system. Any type of data system is hackable. That's the reality of the world that we live in today. We do need to prevent speeding because preventing speeding will save lives. However, these cameras are just reacting to incidents that happen. Someone earlier mentioned how a van with children was rear-ended. That's terrible, but a speed camera would not have prevented that from happening. It only catches it after the fact. Also, is the cost of the cameras and the ongoing operational needs more beneficial than efforts that could be put into effect to prevent speeding in the first place? Like this person stated earlier, there are measures that we can take to prevent speeding in our streets. Some are low cost and temporary that we can test their effectiveness before we install permanent structures. And lastly, I would like to say, I enjoy living here. I like living here. I also pay a lot in taxes, and I would prefer to see my tax dollars go towards something that's beneficial for everything, that's going to create long-lasting change and potentially save lives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And anyone else in opposition? Anyone else in opposition? Third and last, anyone else in opposition? Yes, please.
I'm in opposition principally, name is Rodney Boley. I'm 85. I'm not going to pay for all of this stuff. Now, this stuff is expensive, I realize that. And as far as stopping the speeding, I don't think you can really control that. Now, the expense of this stuff is quite a bit. And I don't think the city needs to keep piling this equipment on the citizens of Norwich. This stuff has to be paid for, maintained, and somebody has to do these things. Now, do we really need it? No, I don't really think so. I haven't been stopped for speeding in this town in the past 60 years. Now, maybe I do a little speeding on the outside, but that's not here in town. So, I don't know what the cameras are actually for. Maybe like the guy says here, keep you informed of what we're doing or something? I'm not sure. And in the future, I'm not sure what the cameras are going to be used for. So I'm in opposition to this simply because the cost and the maintenance of these things. I used to be an electrician a long time ago, and I took care of things like this. Really did. I put the service in this house many, many years ago. And I know it's a lot to maintain, so let's not have a bunch of people hired to maintain these services. If you put them all over the city, that's quite a bit. So keep the expense down. I pay a lot of taxes in this town. I own a lot of property. And I don't like the idea of raising taxes in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in opposition? Anyone else in opposition of this ordinance? Third and last, anyone else in opposition? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed.
Okay, so second reading and action on the above ordinance previously presented, an ordinance authorizing the use of automated traffic enforcement safety devices.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion? Motion moved by President Pro Tem. Can I have a second? Second by Alderman Nash. Any discussions? Floor is open. Yes, President Pro Tem.
The Deputy Chief of the Police Department come
Sure.
back to the podium, please. Thank you for being here tonight, Tom. I'd like to, first, I do have a couple of questions, but I'd like to give you the opportunity to finish what you were saying when time ran out during the public hearing.
Sure. I think one of the big things, and again, I'll reiterate, Flock does not even make a camera system for speed. This has nothing to do with Flock, and I understand the difference between them. There are multiple organizations that do make these speed cameras. I've reached out to both Middletown and Milford, who have two separate type of systems. And they've been working, Milford has been working their system for approximately 3 months now. Middletown's going on a year now. And as I said, Middletown on Route 66, they had a huge speed problem. They set their cameras to start at 20 miles over the speed limit, which is, to me, pretty significant. When you have a road way at 45 miles an hour and everybody's doing 65, and then you see a reduction of 85%, that's a drastic speed change. And I understand that obviously there are other ways to do it. However, this particular way, it doesn't limit our roadways. As I said, the only photographs that are taken of vehicles are of vehicles who are exceeding the speed limit at that time. So that's people who are actually breaking the law at a significant point, depending on what it's set at. When you think of Middletown's example of 20 miles over a speed limit, that's the only time a vehicle photograph is being taken. And again, it only zooms in on the license plate. So it's not taking a photo of the front of the car, it's not taking a photo of the driver, it's taking a photo of the rear portion of the car, and it's just the license plate. So there are no photos being taken of people at that point in time. The companies that are doing or running these programs, they are all CJIS and federally reviewed, and they actually have to go through the same types of processes that police officers do for getting CJIS compliance to be able to review these types of license plates. So they are all basically going through the same thing that a police officer does. Can I ever say that a system can't be hacked? Absolutely not. But neither can Walmart cameras, neither can the police department, neither can cameras that we see around the country. These systems all have that capability. Would I say that a computer that is CJIS compliant is much less likely because there are safeguards that put in place? So like our computers that are CJIS compliant can't be on the internet. So that computer at that point in time, where's the hack going to come from? It would only be from the inside. It can't come from the outside. So there, we are protecting the data to the best of our ability that anybody can at that point in time. When we're looking at the decisions of where these cameras go, as I said, traffic safety studies would have to be put in place. I've been the head of our fatal accident reconstruction unit for the last 10 years. And I've been at numerous fatals. And since 2022 to 2026, we've had 8 fatals inside of the city. 6 of those fatals were speed related. Am I saying that this would have saved those individuals? I don't know. But if they had gotten a ticket in the area that the accident took place prior to the accident taking place, perhaps they would have slowed down on that particular area. It's not going to stop all accidents, but what it's going to do is give us the ability to enforce the law that we are not always there to be. One of the nice part about a camera is that it's always there. You know, obviously with a police officer, we have to be at the right place, right time to see an infraction take place, to see an error take place, for us to be able to stop that car. With a camera, it's constantly there. So even if someone doesn't see a police officer, they're still going to be held to that. Now, one of the big things that we hear, and I've heard throughout tonight, is how is this going to affect the Norwich citizens? And what Middletown found very quickly is that the rate of citizens in that town getting a ticket was very low. It started out in the first 3 months as 10% got warnings. And that's how it starts. It normally starts out with the cameras going in place. There's about a 3-month period where warnings are sent out while these cameras are put in place. And then after that, the infractions start. Now, during that time, it was 10% of the population that lived inside of that city got warnings. By the time the cameras went live, it was only 4% of the population that lived inside the town that were getting tickets. And that is because once you know the camera is there, it's just like us on 95 or Route 2 going towards Hartford. You see the camera and you know it's there and you know it's a potential for a ticket. So that's why citizens, the local citizens, and we're trying to engage the people from out of town to abide by the rules and the laws that the city has at that point in time. So we see Middletown and Milford have seen a very low citizen from that town incident where they've come across this. So again, this is not a quick process. These cameras, we have been looking at these speed cameras for about 2.5 to 3 years. The reason we've come to this point is because we've seen the cameras go through their phases, we've seen them put in place, and we see the benefits. And talking to Chief Costa in Middletown, there's no doubt in my mind at this point in time that these cameras do an incredible amount. When you see that 85% reduction in speed, and I think of Route 97, or I think of New London Turnpike, or Salem Turnpike, where, you know, before we came, I looked at the last 3 months, of accidents inside of the city, and the number one place we saw accidents in the last 3 months was West Main Street and Salem Turnpike. West Main Street, we're gonna see that handled by rotaries. All right, that's gonna slow traffic down. But Salem Turnpike, there's nothing going to stop that until we put in some sort of measures to be able to stop that. And speed camera is a perfect example of where the benefit would be at that point in time. That's what I have.
Thank you. Any other questions? Sure.
My first question is about you referred to them when you first stood up, the LPRs, license plate reading.
Correct.
Cameras, they read every license plate that passes in its field of view. Right? We have those in the city, we all know that. Are they the flock cameras?
Yes.
Okay.
Those are flock cameras.
But that is, and you've said it, that's completely different than what the speed cameras are designed to do and how they do it and who manufactures and operates them.
That's correct.
Okay. I'd like to pivot just a little bit. police officer makes a motor vehicle stop, a traffic stop. That officer obviously calls in their location, the car, and the license plate over the radio. Are radio communications encrypted?
They're not,
And with the scanner would hear the entire thing.
as well as if they don't have their license, their name and date of birth.
So their license plate is broadcast and probably their license number.
Correct.
All of our cruisers have dash cams now?
Yes, every single one.
So there's a picture being taken, or actually video, it's live, right, it's video, but there's a picture being taken of that license plate.
Yes,
Right. The officer's wearing a body cam,
yes,
so the operator and any occupants that might be in the field of view of the body cam are also having their picture taken during that motor vehicle stop.
it's our policy, yes.
When the officer concludes the stop, does the officer report over the air to dispatch what the enforcement action was?
Very often, yes.
All right, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Much. Any other questions for Deputy Chief? Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Thank you. Language in the ordinance states that the information may not be kept, can't be stored. Can you discuss what that reference is? People have expressed concern about that. You've pointed out a distinction of what this is and what it is not.
Yep.
You've already pointed out through the pro temp's line of question what they seem to be concerned about. It's already happening in this city. It's already there. So can you talk to what this specifically limits the language here for what this purpose is?
Sure. So again, different vendors, and as I said, I've had the opportunity to talk to 2 different vendors on this because again, I looked at Middletown and I looked at Milford. So both of them have a similar system. So the data is stored for a period of time until the ticket is either paid for or it goes through the process of someone stating that that wasn't them or some type of denial or however they want to handle it, and then going through the adjudication in a sense. Now, it is not a criminal penalty at that point in time, but people have the right to argue whether that ticket was, appropriate fare. So it's usually about a 60-day window where that data is saved for, and then it is deleted from there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Alderwoman Zaccardi.
So just to be clear, this is only the data of the vehicles that the camera has picked up as going in excess of the speed limit?
That's correct.
Okay. And also, the state law is we only are allowed to have 2 cameras, correct? So we're talking about 2 cameras?
No, actually, the way that inside of, there is no limit to the amount of cameras we can have, actually.
Really? More than 2 locations?
We can.
Oh, that's new. Do we have an idea yet of how many we would have?
It's really going to come down to the informational portion where we start, if this gets approved, putting out the JMAR, the traffic safety studies to make the determination of where they should go. And what's where do we see the biggest violations happening? And it doesn't mean that they can't change over a period of time. But every time that the camera is changed, it has to go through the same process, which means there has to be a traffic study, there has to be a 3-month warning period, there has to be then go to where the tickets will then be sent.
Does the state have to approve the locations?
No, they do not. The only time that the state will get involved is there has to be permitting if it's on a DOT road. If it's a state road, there has to be permitting through DOT for that, but it's not an approval process.
So that's like what's going on in East Lyme?
Correct.
Okay. Does the system have a procedure for programming in vehicles that would be exempt? I mean, I see there's defenses on appeal, but is there any procedure for saying, hey, this is the city council person's license plate, ignore that one?
There is, actually.
Is there?
It's not actually putting in a license plate, but what happens is that an officer has to review every incident before it's sent out. So let's say a fire truck went through. If the fire truck went through, then that fire truck is going to get
Person
removed.
reviews that stuff.
There's a person who ultimately has to review every citation before it's sent out.
Oh, I didn't know that. So if an officer chose to ignore something, it would be just like, it would be wrong.
No, yeah, it would be, I mean, unfortunately, is there always a potential for discretion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you as a police officer, I received one of those red light tickets in Charlestown, Rhode Island. It didn't matter that I was a police officer, I still got the ticket.
And am I correct, so the ticket goes to the owner of the car, right?
That's correct,
Not the
because that's the way that the state statute reads, is that even if you are not driving, you are still responsible for that vehicle at the time that it's being operated.
correct that it's and I may not be, is it sort of like Easy Pass when have you ever used the Easy Pass system?
Yes.
Where
yeah.
they take a picture and
Yeah,
then,
it's just of the rear portion of the license plate.
and then they bill you, okay. Can you talk about the cost a little bit?
So the cost, and again, that really that depends on the company that you go with. But the cost for the cameras are always built into the basis of the infractions in a sense. So both companies that I spoke with, and again, we haven't chosen a company, both companies I spoke to, what they basically state is that the cost of their installation of the cameras and the processing fees all comes from their portion of it. And then it would be our determination what level and how much, depending on the company that we want to go with. So there's no out-of-cost pocket to any of the cities or towns that have put these in place.
That's all I have for the moment, thank you.
Yes, Alderman Kadambaya.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Can you clarify one more time the cost of maintenance? Because there's been some issue, comment from the public so that we are clear how it works.
So that is, again, with these cameras, just like our lasers. So, you know, when an officer takes out a laser device to run speed enforcement for the day, that laser every 6 months has to be verified that it is working accurate and properly. So all of the costs for these systems are based into the cost of the tickets. So what percentage they end up taking, you know, one company out of that we spoke with, their cost out of that $50 ticket is they put on a $15 service fee, and then that service fee covers the maintenance, the certifications, and anything down the road that camera might need. So that is all based upon the tickets for that company that they collect. So it's the money only from the tickets that they actually collect. That's how they get paid.
So clearly, assume that the cameras works perfectly.
Yes.
Which means that no one is speeding.
Correct. They're fine.
Then how does it work?
They don't make revenue from us.
The vendor agreed to go for free?
Yes.
I just want to make sure that I understand. If there's no speeding, no income, they agree with that.
Nothing.
The city doesn't pay anything.
He pays nothing.
So my next question is that this system is not human-free. At the end, we have to have a police officers sit down and go through the camera. Do they need a special training for that?
They will. The company comes out and trains anybody who will be doing those types of verifications.
Do you think we may end up having the same problem as we have with profiling?
No, because we never see what the driver looks like. All we see is the rear license plate of a car.
But we know who lives where, for instance, don't we, in town here?
I'm sorry?
We may know who lives where in town, don't we?
I don't know everybody's license plate. I mean, I don't remember people's license plates to the level of knowing who they are.
Yep.
So, I mean, the only people that are going to have the photo taken of them is people who is violating the speed of that. And so it's really, there's no bias against it because it is 100% a photo of the car, and there's no way for that to happen.
Okay. Can you explain to us the need to have the officer review in issue citation instead of making like if you drive in the toll, they send you the ticket, they send you the toll fees immediately without anyone reviewing it? So why do we have to have an officer? What's the benefit of having the officer look at the ticket? We know that the only one over 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Can you explain to us the need to have a person look at it?
I can give you an example, and this actually happened to Middletown. It was fire departments, it was police officers going code in their vehicles, and they're not going to issue tickets to, let's say, the fire department, the ambulance company, or any police officers who are going code in a police vehicle to that pass through that speed camera. So there has to be some sort of review process. There also has to be a review process to ensure that the car and the license plates match. So we have something called, and there's people, we arrest them all the time for misuse. And so if the license plates don't match the car and we don't have an address, there's not going to send out a ticket because that's not going to go to anybody that's going to receive it because they don't match.
So based on that, how much manpower you think you will need? Do we need to hire another police persons or?
Actually, the benefit.
Or do you have enough people? Because you're going to have a volume of videos to look at, don't you?
Yeah, the one company who does Milford, basically what they say is that an average police officer can go through about 100 to 150 vehicles or reviewing 100 and 150 of these citations in an hour. So at that point in time, we'd either have to assign someone to do that. It might be an alternative duty depending on, obviously what is our hope? That we put the speed camera up and nobody violates it. And as you said, nobody violates it. We don't have to review many tickets. But again, we train the police officers, they can do to 100 to 150 in an hour, and then we would deal with it that way. And the benefit to us is obviously, you all know that we're in a manpower crisis.
That's right.
So with that manpower crisis, what that does is that removes an officer, as one of the people who spoke, that removes them from doing the traffic enforcement to the cameras doing the work for us and us reviewing the cameras to do, basically one officer can now handle multiple cameras and get more effectiveness in a sense by having the speed cameras up.
So my next question is that, so do you agree that we have a speeding issue in this town?
Yes, 100%.
How many tickets you guys have issue?
That's variable because like last night we were handling a number of different calls for service, so there was only 5 traffic stops.
But the actual ticket, do we have, because I want to make sure that we have an issue, therefore, this is what we have done before, but how many tickets this town, since the problem is so crucial that we need a camera, I want to know the police department, how many tickets have been issued? Can we have that?
I don't have that data offhand. I can go get it for you in the next couple of days. But the problem is, it's not always about how many tickets we've issued. It's about how many tickets we're missing.
Right.
So the problem is that we're not catching them because we don't have the manpower to put them on the street.
Definitely, I agree with you, Deputy Chief, but at least we should have something to start with.
Yeah, no,
Here is let's say we have, I'm just making my numbers. We have 10 tickets every month or every week, and we assume that if we had the camera, we can get more. I think that would be more convincing to many people in the audience. My question is not because I don't understand, but it will be helpful, my own consumption.
Data with me.
Okay.
I can tell you that in the last 3 months, we've had 241 accidents. And out of the 241 accidents, I'd say at least half of them were speed related.
Okay. Now, you also mentioned that if everything's okay, and let me make sure I got this one right, you're going to have traffic studies before installing them. What does it mean?
So if, let's say, we find an area where we're finding that we've seen a huge reduction and we're not seeing speed to be a dilemma in that area anymore, the cameras can be moved. But every time a camera is moved, or any time we're going to place a camera, we have to do a 2-week traffic study in that location to see, and what a traffic study is basically, it's a camera that's put in place.
Okay.
That reviews all the cars that pass to tell us how fast the car is going past that area, to make the determination whether putting an officer or putting a camera there is worth, if we're gonna get what we want out of that area.
So the traffic study you're talking about is being done by you, just empirical data?
Us and the company.
Okay. So because I'll make sure that is clarified, because I thought you're going to hire a company to do the study and so on. So I'll make sure that everyone understands that.
We actually do both. So
You do
like
both.
we, very often, we do many traffic studies. So, you know, I've been here for a very long time, and it's pretty common where we hear about speed being a problem in a certain area. So what we typically do is it's called a JMAR. We put the JMAR out, and that JMAR then reviews all the cars that drive through that area. And sometimes we get like the areas, like one of the areas that we were told was Baltic Road out in Ockham. We were told that we were seeing a very high rate of speed through there. We put out the camera for a 2-week period, and we found that it wasn't as big of an issue as what we thought it was. But then we go to an area like Boswell, and we find out that it is. So the traffic study helps us make those data-driven decisions.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, President.
Bill, I thought you raised your hand? I did not. No, okay. So for my second time, just to really address what Alderman Kannenbayer was asking, I have the chief's report to public safety for the month of April, delivered in the month of May, at the May meeting. 67 accidents investigated, so that's like 2.5 a day, all right? And 144 traffic stops. So that represents the number of infractions, or the number of times behavior was observed that prompted an officer to make a stop. That doesn't even talk about the ones that never get seen, right? Regardless of what the enforcement action was, 144, so that's, what, pushing 5 a day?
Yes.
So,
I had that same information, but the question, it was not breaking down whether it was speed related. It was just said 144 stop. So again, I agree with you. I'm just saying that I look at the safety committee data. We have 144, but it doesn't tell us if it was speed related. I was trying to figure out of the 144, which stop was speed related. That's why I asked that question.
I don't know off the top of my head. I apologize.
Thank you.
again, not to create debate on the
No,
floor,
you're
but
good,
right, but you just said that more than half the accidents are speed-related.
yes.
So we had 67 accidents, right? Okay, so 34 of them were speed-related in 1 month. That's one a day.
Thank you.
I will, are we all set?
Yeah.
Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Thank you. Over the years, probably one of the largest complaints I received when I was sitting in the mayor's chair was people ignoring speed limits. I can remember standing in people's homes on Canterbury Turnpike and observing cars coming down those hills 60, 70 miles an hour. One homeowner offered to the police department to allow them to put their cars on their property to catch these people. On 169, which is a state road, which you pointed out would still need a permit if that was to be placed there, the frequency of complaints I have heard about the trash trucks coming on a Wheelabrator incinerator, barreling down that road, again, 60, 70 miles an hour, but people that live right on that road, their homes shake. They're afraid to leave their property and their cars. Speed is a really big problem in this community. If an officer in a vehicle observes a car speeding, are you permitted to pursue?
We are not.
You're not.
So basically, if it is a speed-related or only a motor vehicle, That's how the state requires it. If it's a motor vehicle infraction, then once we and turn on our emergency lights and sirens and attempt to pull over the vehicle, if the vehicle continues on or increases speed, we are not allowed to pursue. By state law, by state policy, the only time that we can is if there's dire circumstances. The threat to the public is greater than the threat at that point in time.
It seems that your hands are really, truly tied
Correct.
right now, and yet the public is asking for a response to slow people down. Look, the state's going to spend $60 to $80 million on West Main Street because of overspeeding.
Correct.
That money really should go to the Pequot Bridge. It needs to be expanded, but they don't want to do that. People's lives are already at risk. You guys have been handcuffed by state decisions. And again, you pointed out that the main concern about the storage of data, these types of cameras that would be deployed by this ordinance, that's not them.
Correct.
It's not that at all. Nobody's storing data, nobody's profiling, nobody's taking photos of the drivers. And again, it's only triggered by the speed limit that the camera reads.
Correct.
Based on what was established and set, and it's through a public process, including 3 months of warnings ahead of time. Is this a standard ordinance? Is this where the language came from, to have that 3-month trial, to have the notice so the public was fully aware ahead of time? Is that why you went with this language, because it had those public protections built in?
So basically, and again, we followed some of the other models out there in the state so that we were mimicking what has already been done to match what's working.
Thank you.
Alderwoman Hayes, do you have any question? I know you're on the phone.
No, I'm good.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much. I think with all this discussion, I got a lot of my answers. That data is not stored, and we are not paying anything as a city. And if there is revenue, then there is a revenue, but we are not trying to do revenue grab, and we hope it change people's behavior. And there's no racial profiling, because it's only gonna take picture of the license plate from the back side of it. And thank you for giving us the whole process overview as well. Definitely now, Alderman Nystrom, I get those complaints every day.
You do.
So I can relate to that, and I forward 1 or 2 emails every single day to our police chief, and now to you as well. But we are the city which has a lot of state roads inbuilt to it. And a lot of speeding is actually happening on a lot of those state roads as well. Route 12 is one prime example. On one particular spot, there were 4 accidents in 1 year. So there is an issue, and I think it has been lingering around for all these years, and we are finally acting on it. And I think this is a right way to act, because if you stop a vehicle, give them infraction, either it will deduct their points, or if you use discretion and give them small infraction, even for the seat belt, just to, so they're paying for the mistake, it's still $92. State has increased their minimum infraction to $92. So this is actually a cheaper way for them to kind of understand how they need to act. But let's hope for the best, and I will be supporting this ordinance. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
No, I have a discussion.
Oh, yes, Alderman Nash.
Questions. I just wanted to talk about the
Sure.
ordinance. I did some of my research too, because I don't live in a bubble, and the young lady provided tremendous information to us. But I can tell you, as a former police officer, even though my service is archaic compared to many in here, speed cameras have proven to be a useful tool, providing safety on the roads. It encourages drivers to obey the speed limits. It cuts a number of crashes. Chief Costa in Middletown is actually a very good friend of mine, so I talked to him long before the city even approached about cameras, he was telling me, Nash, you got to get these cameras in Norwich. It's saving lives. So one of the things I will say this as a police officer, one of the hardest things to do is change people's behaviors. When you do motor vehicle stops, you're trying to change behavior. I used to work West Main Street, Crash Alley. Most of the accidents I saw out on West Main Street were all left-hand turns. Most every single one was either coming out of a parking lot or going into one. And it was rear-ended, side swipes, T-bones, whatever you want to call them. We did motor vehicle out there. Back in the day, we didn't have, and Joe can attest, we didn't have mandates, like we didn't have a quota. Everyone's like, oh, you have a quota. We didn't have quotas. First of all, it's against the law to have quotas. We didn't have quotas, but we had a supervisor on midnights that demanded 50 to 60 stops a month by one officer. So you got 8 guys on midnights. Each of us had to do 50 to 60 motor vehicle stops a night. We had many midnight guys, which were the beneficiaries of MAD awards for catching drunk drivers after the hours. But one of the things they used to say was, it was almost like I'd pull a car over, give a ticket, and pull a car over before I even set my radar back up. It was a daunting task. And one of the times my supervisor said to me, don't worry about how many cars you pull over. Just remember, if you stop here and you stop another one on the other side an hour later, 45 minutes later, people driving by thinking, oh man, all the cops are out today. They're pulling everybody over. And it slowed down the traffic. I give you personal experience. I take my wife to the Smilo Hospital twice a month. I drive down 95 in the East Line where they've been doing construction since I moved here in '84. Okay? The police put up the speed cameras now. I can tell you now, driving that way, speed has incredibly reduced because those cameras are giving out tickets. One of the guys I work with got a $75 ticket, but it was only a warning telling him that he was traveling on the Old Star Bridge, exceeding the speed. He was doing 75, and I think it's down to 45 now. But I'm going to tell you, heading south to New Haven in East Lyme, that traffic has gone from Waterford Speed Bowl to a bunch of old Sunday drivers out there just trying to get through that traffic zone. Now, once they're through it, speed's back up to 80, 85 miles an hour. But I can tell you right now, the hardest thing in our society is changing people's habits. One of the reasons I could catch drunk, hit and run accidents was when a person has an accident and takes off. You could pretty much bet in 3 or 4 days they'll be back through there because people are creatures of habit. And they might have gone a different way for a couple of days because they don't want to get caught. But they always go back to the same way. So changing people's habits are the most important thing. And as far as the Fourth Amendment, I went to numerous schools as a police officer, Fourth Amendment rights. If you're concerned about the police having speed cameras taking pictures of your license plate, what about the Easy Pass? What about the ring cams on people's driveways? What about all the cameras on businesses all throughout the city? You're not worried about that Fourth Amendment, but you're worried about a highly regulated department who has rules, regulations, and can be sued and has been sued at the drop of a hat. And you're worried about them with your information, but not Walmart or somebody at some street with a ring cam taking pictures of you. So your Fourth Amendment right when you walk out the door is not as great as you think it is. You still have it, but it's not as great as you think it is. Okay? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll be in support of this, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, Alderwoman Zuccardi.
I'd like to just piggyback on that, speeding, a person can be pulled over by a human being. It seems to me that their Fourth Amendment right comes into play much more when they're being pulled over, when an officer can see something, can search and seize, the same thing. The speed camera only takes your license plate and how fast you're going. That's it. There's no other search or seizure of anything else as there could be in a ticket from a pullover. And the cameras don't implicate or violate the Sixth Amendment. It's not criminal. There's due process with an appeal process built in. The cameras are color and race blind. And doing the research, I'll echo what Alderman Nash said, and I thank Cassie for bringing all the flock camera information to our attention. I am far more worried about what Home Depot and Lowe's and all the other things that Alderman Nash mentioned, are doing with my data than I am, as he said, by this highly regulated process intended to and shown to improve public safety. So I will be voting in favor of this.
Thank you. Yes, Alderman.
So I'll be voting for this ordinance, but I saw that we have some citizens who raise concern, and I want to tell them why I'll be supporting this ordinance. Whenever we talk about enforcement, we have strong opinion, and then we value each one of you standing and making us know your opinion. Some of you rightly worry about the privacy, and some of you, I think, talk about revenue, if this is not another way to get money. All those concerns are valid. That's why we are having hearing to hear those concerns. And I reviewed carefully many times this ordinance, and it's about changing dangerous driving behavior and making our streets safer. It's not about creating another source of revenue. I am sure, and some of you have already testified here, you have seen those people are driving dangerously near you, near me, near our loved one. And if we have one way, even just one life to save, I think it is worth it. So we cannot also place police everywhere, every time. But this will give us an avenue, at least, to have some eyes somewhere all the time. And like the Deputy Chief explained to us, it takes only pictures those who are above the speed limit, the threshold. So, and then it's just only the license plate. It's important to note that the ordinance includes some safeguard, right? The videos are reviewed before citations are sent out, and also after that, after you pay, the information is destroyed. So, I think based on what my colleague Nash, who has extensive experience, say, we owe that to our citizens to make the town safe, and then so that we all can drive safely and come back home. If it was about money, I will not vote for this. If this, I have seen it, this was a source of revenue for the town, I will not vote for this one. So it is about getting dangerous driving habit change so that we all can enjoy driving around this town. So as a council member, I'll be making a decision to protect the resident of this town. If there's one single thing that can save even one life, I will do so. Nothing is perfect, but I think we can make the town more safer. That's my plea, and I'll be voting for this ordinance.
Thank you. Any other discussions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes? No. Alderman Karambaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia? Yes. Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion pass 6-1. Thank you.
City Manager's report?
Thank you. This is the city manager's report for July 20th, 2026. Meetings and professional engagements. During the reporting period, I represented the city of Norwich at the following meetings and events: City Coordination Meeting, Norwich Community Development Corporation Executive Committee Meeting, Norwich Waterfront Engineering Design, and Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments. City Clerk. The City Clerk's Office has been awarded a fiscal year 2027 Historic Documents Preservation Program grant in the amount of $6,000. The office has received this grant annually since 2013 to support its in-house document digitalization initiative. The project focuses on scanning and preserving historical records to improve accessibility, searchability, and document retrieval. Staff are currently digitizing records dating from 1902 and earlier. Tax collection update, tax bills for motor vehicles, real estate, and personal property were issued in July. Residents who have not yet received a tax bill are encouraged to obtain a copy by visiting the city's website at norwichct.gov or by contacting the tax office. The city's credit card payment processor recently distributed email reminders regarding July tax payments. These emails were authorized by the city and include a secure link for online payment. Tax payments may be made online, by mail, or in person. Cash and check payments are also continue to be accepted at Norwich M&T banks locations with presentation of the original tax bill. Residents who receive a tax bill for a vehicle they no longer own should contact the assessor's office to verify ownership records and ensure the bill accurately reflects the applicable ownership period. The deadline to pay the July tax installment without interest or penalty is August 3rd, 2026. Human Services. Human Services received a $1,000 donation from Maria's Treasure to assist residents experiencing emergency needs. Staff continue to process numerous renter rebate applications each week, helping eligible residents access state funding that will be available in November. Public Works, paving of the skate park driveway and parking area has been completed. Structural support repairs for the ice rink chiller have been completed. Rehabilitation work on Market Street Garage is scheduled to begin in August. The city's paving contractor, Charles Pasteryak Jr., Inc., has completed approximately 1.7 miles of roadway improvements during this construction season. Completed work includes east side areas, Waukegas Street, Browning Road, Delmar Court, Mitchell Court, Coolidge Court, and Mechanic Street. Planning and Neighborhood Services. The Central Avenue pedestrian bump-out project has been successfully completed, creating a safer and more pedestrian-friendly streetscape. This accomplishment was made possible through the dedication of community volunteers who work through extreme summer temperatures. The city extends its sincere appreciation to all volunteers whose commitment helped improve safety and accessibility for residents and visitors. Youth and Family and Recreation. Youth, Family, and Recreation has installed its 5th Kindness Pantry at the Adult Education Building and relocated an underutilized pantry to Laurel Hill to better serve the community. Residents continue to generously donate non-perishable food and personal hygiene items, ensuring that these resources remain available to those in need. Prevention Coordinator Hannah Ornburn recently conducted a Narcan training session for Norwich's 2 newest police officers. Additionally, 10 youth ages 12 to 16 began an outdoor adventure camp in partnership with Outside Perspectives. Participants will develop leadership and team-building skills through activities including a rope course, day hikes, and overnight canoeing and camping experience. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you very much, John. Any questions for City Manager at this time? Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Thank you. There was an article in the paper about the city's application for the federal government for the improvements to exit 18. In fact, that was denied. That I had to read it in the paper prior to other members in the administration obviously having that knowledge ahead of time. I question that. I would like to think that we would communicate better on things as important as that. I've heard other members of council complain about those things being discovered by us in newspaper articles when people in administration knew that information prior. I hope I'm recalling this correctly. Mayor, you talked in an article, and there were, I guess, or is it maybe online, not always in the newspaper, but there were photos of your interaction with state officials, transportation people, stuff like that, but you had already known the grant was being denied. I just ask why we weren't told as a council beforehand, because that's a significant loss for us. It's now the fourth time that we've applied for those funds. Each time we apply, I know we narrow, we sharpen the pencil, we look for ways to reduce the cost. We're trying to address what's necessary for the OIC to really bear fruit and for this city's economic growth. But we really need those federal dollars, and I have to ask rhetorically what our elected federal officials are doing for us, because now 4 times it's been through their office, and again, we're not getting the funds, but it is of the highest priority.
Definitely, actually, the email was shared by NCDC. I don't know if it went to all the council members or not, but that's how everybody got to know about that. But after that, I did share that with our federal leaders, that I am disappointed that despite of all the efforts, we didn't get it this time as well. And despite of the fact we didn't get it, I was still adamant to go to US Department of Transportation and share some facts with them, which one of the fact is very unfortunate that 72% of the money out of I believe $36 billion in the BUILD grant went to the red states. And that was one of the fact I highlighted to them, that this project is beyond blue and red. We talk about, and Trump administration talk about creating the jobs, and they want less reliance on the federal dollars for the people, then the only way to establish that is by creating the jobs and supporting the projects. And I was like, other disappointment I have is this time, because they changed the name, as you remember, it was Tiger, and then it was Raise. They changed the name to Build, which is meant for leveraging the development. And I was like, this is leveraging the development. While we are locked in with the Fortune 100 company who will be creating 500 jobs for the whole region. And impacts are actually more than Norwich if this project comes to the fruition. But we have another meeting coming with them because there is a lot to follow up. And I actually gave them the folder to make sure it goes to the Secretary Duffy's office as well, because this kind of project need that kind of attention. And they need to understand how this project is not only we're asking for the safety aspect of it, but how it will impact the overall grand list growth of the city. And we finally have opportunity to come out of distressed community municipality status here, right? Even though we might lose some resources with that, but bottom line is these are the projects which needs to be more highlighted. But I did talk to Commissioner Euclido as well, and definitely they have all suggested me to continue with the advocacy on this and continue working with the federal administration and the highway administration unit itself. But yeah, I totally agree. This is important project, and even if we don't get that grant and we are unable to achieve the dedicated access, that's not end of the story. Project is still moving forward with it. And but bare minimum from safety standpoint, because we don't know what impact it will bring and how many companies we are getting, signalization is definitely important. So we are pitching for that as well. And I also met with the governor-appointed liaison in Washington, D.C. For the U.S. Department of Transportation, Dan DeSimon as well, and I shared with governor as well. And I made him aware how this project is worth getting built grant or find us some other assistance for this particular purpose. And now I think it's more important for us to be advocating for the SIF resources because we do need to complete the road, which we started with the original monies we got in round 2. And more delay we do, more price tag is going up. But we will be starting road construction sometime in October or November. And a project is moving forward. RFP process is in hands of state right now, and I think within 30 days we'll be out of that, and then it will be in the public domain for RFP requisitions. So yeah, I know. I made a couple trips and I am very disappointed myself, but these kind of projects do need to be highlighted, and I will continue to do so. And definitely, I think this kind of information, I can try myself to be better and try to make sure all the council member knows about it. Sometimes we just assume everybody knows everything, but definitely feel free to call me anytime you need any information.
I would welcome a call from you concerning those issues. My own personal involvement with this issue goes all the way back to the beginning. I think Mark Betancourt was our pro tem at that time as we tried to create that opportunity for the investment. So, but I appreciate the explanation.
Thank you so much. Yeah. If no other questions, we'll move forward.
Citizen comment on resolution agenda items only.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I declare citizen comment open on resolution agenda items only. If anybody would like to talk about resolutions which are in front of us, we have 6 resolutions we'll be acting on today. Please come forward. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name. Anyone who would like to address council on resolution items? Yes, ma'am.
I need to speak on resolution number 6 because once again I am confused. You are asking us to approve bonding $55 million for the police station. Is that correct?
We don't really do back and forth, but business ordinance states that.
I can't understand you. Yes or no? You are asking to bond $55 million. Yes or no?
That is the new business ordinance.
No, it's resolution number 6.
Resolution number 6 doesn't ask for any dollar amount.
You don't even know what resolution number 6 is? I'm asking you to explain it to me.
Doesn't call for any dollar amount, and we cannot do back and forth.
Okay, then I will just continue on my tirade. I support the police department 100%. What I do not support, and I have made it clear on many occasions, is your convoluted backroom special interest projects. You bought that building under the cover of darkness, knowing damn well that the criteria was $800,000. What is your plan of action? You don't communicate with us. I have sent emails to the city managers, Deputy Chief Lazaro, and you don't answer me. It's very frustrating that you sit up there with this elitist attitude that we are too dumb to understand what is going on. So we come to you and we ask you a question. Resolution number 6 talks about, I believe, and again, I am dealing here with significant diminished capacity, but I showed up here tonight, which is more than I can say for some of you. Can you answer my question? What does resolution number 6 address, if not the borrowing the money for a police station? You don't interact except when it suits your purpose.
Thank you very much.
No, you
Your
don't
time is
mean that,
over.
Mayor Singh. You are a shallow vessel.
Whoa! Enough.
No, it's not enough.
Yeah, no, you need to stop.
Maintain the decorum. Your time is over. Please have a seat. Thank you. Anybody else who would like to speak on resolution items? We have 6 resolutions. Yes. Rocky, please. Resolution items only. Thank you.
Resolution is regarding the building, $55 million.
I'm sorry.
The resolution,
There is no resolution like that.
the building.
It doesn't say 55 million. We're not going to do back and forth.
We're not going to do back.
You have 3 minutes, please state your name and
Rocky, and I am opposed. Yeah, it says an ordinance appropriating 55 million.
Not.
Anyways, you're pulling, you will not listen to the will of the people. You just don't care. We found out. Open Yantic. Mr. Mayor, reopen Yantic.
we are talking about resolution items only. Please have a seat.
Where is on this paper the resolution? Where's the item? Please.
We got a group here? I mean, one person.
Relative to reappointment or relative to a reappointment, relative to authorizing city manager Salamone. Oh, okay, number 6, relative to passage of City Norwich Police Headquarters. That's the one I want to address. $800,000, you made the deal so that you wouldn't have to come to we the people. If you were allowed to spend 900 without coming to the people, you would have spent 900. The only reason why it's 800 is because it's you do not want to hear our will. You don't care. So 55, this resolution authorizing the safety committee, whatever, you keep doing what we don't want. You keep doing what we don't want. Reopen Yantic. Oh, but that's not another thing. But we don't want it. You don't care. Don't waste our money. We don't want it. You don't care. It's the same con job. It's a con job. You're not doing what we want. Oh, but I got elected. Yeah, to do what we want. You didn't get elected to do what you want. Whatever.
Thank you very much. Anybody else who would like to speak on resolution items in front of us? We have 6 resolutions. Second, anyone else who would like to speak on resolution items? Yes, please.
Rodney Bowie, 62 Roosevelt Avenue. I'm opposed to this number 6 passage. We bought an expensive building, and we're going to change it into a police station. This is too expensive, and the people in Norwich don't know exactly what it's going to cost. Now, I just don't get it. We keep adding expenses to this city, and I'm concerned about that. Now, I really don't understand buying a bank and putting a police station in it. I just don't understand it at all. And I'm a landlord in the city. I own several properties here, and I pay a lot of taxes, so I don't like the idea of the expense escalating all the time. Now, this police station is going to cost a whole bunch of money, and nobody seems to realize that. Not the state, not the federal government. We, the citizens of Norwich, are going to pay for this. And I don't see any idea of spending $55 million to do it. People don't understand what it costs, either federal, state, or other. I just don't get it. Now, I realize this stuff puts people to work, but it doesn't bring business in the city. Neither do the cameras that were installed in here. It won't bring people to the city. It'll keep people out. If they know they're going to be ticketed for something, they'll stay away from Norwich. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else who would like to speak on resolution, agenda items only?
Good evening, Council. I'm going to speak on the open forum as well, but I'd like a minute to talk about this. I've been in construction my entire life. I'm a contractor now. You don't put $55 million in a 100-year-old building. That's ridiculous. You guys should put out the RFP and have a contest. Who can design a police department for the least amount of money?
Yeah.
Let's do it for $10 million, $20 million.
Mr. Mayor.
Give them a $10,000 bonus for coming in the cheapest. That's how it should be done. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is not part of our public comment at this time.
So, just for the knowledge, there is ordinance which will be scheduled for public hearing for August 17th. But today we're gonna discuss that during public comments on agenda items only. So again, anyone who would like to talk on resolution items can come forward. Anyone who would like to talk about resolution items?
I'd like to know the difference between 6 and the new ordinance. Define it, please. Resolution number 6 and the difference between resolution number 6 and the ordinance that's under new business. Where's the line? What can I talk about?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for a moment of personal privilege so that I can answer that question, because it seems to be the greater understanding, at least in the crowd in the gallery.
Sure. Do we need a motion for that? Personal?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Just your permission.
Yeah.
So, tonight, we will be scheduling we will be doing the first reading of the ordinance in order to go to referendum for the project that will turn the former Chelsea Groton Bank building into the new police station. Okay, so that first reading will be tonight, and we will schedule a public hearing, I believe, for August 17th. And that is when we will hear what the public has to say about sending the ordinance to referendum. So that is what the public hearing is for, okay? Wait a
so-
minute. It will be at that referendum on Election Day in November that you will decide whether or not the city will borrow $55 million to convert that building into the new police station. Resolution number 6, and I understand that, because Alderman Nystrom and I had the same read on the actual resolution language, and that's why I say I understand where the confusion is coming from. If the ordinance is moved forward, there needs to be a group of people who are willing to accept the responsibility for public outreach and information getting to the community about the project. We decided that it would be the 3 members of the Public Safety Committee, along with city administrative staff, who will be responsible for doing that. That is what resolution number 6 provides. That's the difference between the two. So resolution number 6 has no money attached to it. It's just a group of approximately 8 people who will be responsible for getting information out to the community. We felt it was best that the 3 members of the public safety take the lead on that, considering the fact that the police station falls under that umbrella.
Gotcha. So,
Thank you.
thank you, fair enough.
Thank you.
So resolution number 6 then is intricately tied to the money. So I am opposed to appointing people to convince me to spend $55 million. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on resolution items?
My name is Rob Anders. I think that some of the reason for the confusion is, well, the resolution is poorly written. I also oppose the idea of having members of the government actually try to convince us to vote for a specific policy. I don't think that's a good precedent. So I think you should oppose number 6 and let whoever's going to campaign for it, and whoever's going to campaign against it, and, you know, don't make a specific endorsement of people who are giving a public opinion of whether this is a good resolution or not. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, we're not going to do back and forth. We can do that in our... anyone else who would like to speak on 6 resolution items? Second, anyone else who would like to speak on those 6 resolutions we have? Third and last, anyone else who would like to speak on 6 resolution? Hearing none, I declare the citizen comment closed.
A vote for each one individually.
Yes.
Okay, so new business resolution number 1, relative to the reappointment of a regular member to the Harbor Management Commission, Alderman Nash.
Yes. Well, who's the person?
Oh,
We should tell the person's name.
actually, first, we need motion. Can I have a motion for resolution number 1? Okay, Alderman Nash and President Pro Temp. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll just say a member appointed on Harbor Management Commission is Mark Sicoso. And no discussion, so roll call, please. Now you can take roll call.
Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Kadombaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
New business resolution number 2, relative to the reappointment of a regular member to the Commission on the City Plan.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion? President Pro Tem, second, Alderman Kadombaya. Any discussions? A member appointed is Kathy Wazika. Roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Alderman Kadombaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0.
Item 3, relative to the reappointment of a regular member to the Ice Arena Authority.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion? Alderman Nash, second. President Pro Tem. Any discussion? Member appointed as Mark Sicoso. Roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes? Alderman Karambaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Item 4, relative to authorizing City Manager John Salamone to tender of an easement agreement by NCDC of the re-subdivision plan for the Ockham Industrial Center.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, please? Alderman Nash, second. President Pro Tem. Any discussion? Yes, President Pro Tem.
Yes. I'd like to ask the Director of Planning and Neighborhood Services to come to the podium, please.
Anna Rhodes, for the record.
Could you just give us a nickel tour of what this resolution does?
Sure, so this particular one, well, I can tell you what both of them do, this one and the next one. There's just legal paperwork after a subdivision that needs to be filed on the land record, so this breaks them up into two parts, but that's what it really is. So the subdivision is ready, the re-subdivision is ready to file probably in the next week or two, and this is the legal paperwork that goes along with it. And that's it. There's conservation easements and things like easements for the road and such, drainage.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
Any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes? Yes. Alderman Karambaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Item 5, relative to authorizing City Manager John Salamone to tender of easements, deed, and releases by NCDC for the Ockham Industrial Center.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion, please? Alderman Nystrom. Second, Alderman Nash. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Oh, we have an amendment.
Yes. Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Yeah, there's an amendment that needs to be added to. Council members have this attachment to Resolution 5 on your desks. It refers to the revised version of the new business Resolution 5 to be amended from the floor. Reference to the last paragraph. Thank you. I didn't know it was off. My apologies. It's reference to the last paragraph. The words read, "The Commission on the City Plan has reviewed," and that is to be removed in its entirety, that one phrase.
Sure. We can treat that as a friendly amendment if everybody agrees. Okay, thank you. So we'll be voting with the amendment for removing the last whereas in the resolution number 5 for record. Any other discussions? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes? Yes. Alderman Karambaya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Business Resolution Item 6, relative to upon the passage of the City of Norwich Police Headquarters Ordinance by the City Council, that the Public Safety Committee, the City Manager, and relevant city employees continue to collaborate in support of public awareness for referendum.
Thank you very much. Can I have a motion? President Pro Tem, can I have a second? Alderwoman Zaccardi. Any discussion? Yes, President Pro Tem.
No, go ahead, Pro Tem.
Thank you. So you all heard what I said earlier and my explanation as to why this resolution exists. I will say that I'm a little taken back by some of the rancor already, because we sit here and we listen to you yell at us because we're not transparent enough. And so we built a system for this particular project where we would have to be completely transparent. For one thing, this automatically puts this topic of the referendum and the ordinance itself, if it is actually, I have to qualify this by saying that we haven't scheduled a public hearing yet. There's no guarantee that a public hearing or that this is going to move forward. It is on our agenda. It is the next thing. But their vote has to be taken before any of this comes to fruition. But it's a resolution, so it has to be under the category of resolutions. Now, as a resolution, if it is passed and the ordinance moves forward tonight, then it guarantees that the Public Safety Committee has to have this item on its agenda at every meeting between now and the referendum date, which is Election Day in November. I will also tell you that we've already had conversations about having an informational prior to the council meeting on the 17th so that people can hear about the project before the public hearing actually happens and before this council takes any action on whether or not to send it to a referendum in the first place. So again, we're pulling back the curtain that, people believe it is there, and we are putting mechanisms in place to be completely transparent, and you're not happy. I don't know that we can make you happy. All right, if we give you everything you ask for, or as much as we can, and you're still not happy, I don't know that we can make you happy. But we're trying, is the point. We are trying. We're listening to what you say about being more transparent, and this is a step in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Alderman Nash.
I look at this resolution the same as I did back on the dime when we were talking about taking over the North State property for $1. I remember sitting on that committee with several other people, and I remember the citizens, not as rude as they are today or nasty as they are today, but they were saying how dumb we are not to take that deal, how ridiculous the council is not to take that deal. How do we not take a deal for $1 for all this property we can build magnificent stuff on? Well, I sat on that committee and realized that it was the absolute worst thing the city of Norwich could do, because it was $8 million in remediation on one building that had to be paid by the city of Norwich. And you had to have it done in X amount of days or months, because it was a city that owned it, not a private entity that owned it. Because when the gentleman came in and took it over, he didn't have the same time constraints, in fact, did nothing, but didn't have the time constraints to encapsulate the property and remediate the damage that was done by the state hospital over the decades that they were there, century they were there. So when we voted no against it, the informationals we had, the meetings we had, the conversations we had with the citizens convinced other people, realizing that the ones that were calling us idiots, it was the right idea not to take that property. Now, you want to talk about, I can't get into all the details about the Chelsea landing, the Chelsea Bank, but let me just tell you right now, trying to put a police department there is a far better use than what was suspected to be going there. I don't know how much I can say without getting jammed up because of executive session stuff. But I'm going to tell you now, putting the police department there is a far better use of that building than what was originally going to go in there. And by the way, they were paying the market value. When they came to us and said, we don't want to do this, so we'll sell you this at a reduced rate if you just buy it before a certain date so we can get the tax credits on the whatever tax credits they get for old buildings. So this committee, I believe, is a way, like Alderman Joe said, it's for you. So you can tell us what you think, what we can give back and forth. It sucks that we can't talk back and forth here. But at public safety, we've allowed opportunities for people to come in and discuss whatever. And we've expended our rules and allowed you to talk about other topics. This is a perfect opportunity for you. Public safety is going to be monitoring this and giving you the information. It's still going out to referendum. I'm not trying to convince you to do anything. You don't want it? Don't vote for it. It's $55 million now, $65 million next year, probably $75 million a year after that. And if you want to build something, tell me where. Everyone's talking about Starwoods. It's not available to us. So stop. Stop talking about Starwoods. It's not available to us. Again, I don't know how much I can say because of executive session crap, but it's not available to us. So there are other locations in Norwich, but they're not any cheaper than $50 million. You didn't like it on Mahan Drive, and that was $45 million. Remember that cost $44 million? You didn't want it there because it's on Mahan Drive. You want it over to Buckingham, where the old school was. You can't do that. It's a neighborhood. You can't have police cars flying in and out of there at all hours of the night. The neighbors will never expect it. It's like the people that move next to the Groton Airport and then complain about the airplanes. We need to do something. This is a mechanism for you to come to us and for us to come to you. Like Joe said, pulling back the curtain that I don't know was there, but there we are. So,
Thank you very much. Any other discussions? Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Thank you. One, I think this resolution is premature. Two, I don't think it's legal because it references if the ordinance is referred to referendum. Once it's referred to referendum, the city cannot advocate anything on the referendum. You can't do it. It's against state law. It's a bond that's being put forth for a formal vote during an election cycle. This happens to be a big one because the governor's race is there. We cannot advocate in any form whatsoever if we appoint a standing committee of the city council today, tonight, to take on this opportunity. I think we're violating the state law that says we can't advocate. I'm not against the Public Safety Committee taking a role for sharing of information. I can tell you when the Downtown Bond Act was put up for referendum, we were clearly told we could not advocate for its passage. We were instructed that if an individual member of council wanted to write a letter and explain why they voted the way they did, they could do that. But even in that letter, we could not say how anyone should vote. I fear that the language here is either lacking. For example, it says refer to referendum. I think you want to add in and is approved by the voters. Then you would have the Public Safety Committee. But I mean, this work should have been done in the last 6 months. We're coming to the trough very, very late at this point, in my opinion. And I'm not going to get into other issues on this. I'm trying to stick to the resolution in front of us. I don't believe we can do this. Based on prior experience with other issues we put to referendum. I sat in that chair as mayor for 12 years, and Mike Driscoll was emphatic that we cannot in any way advocate passage. It could be viewed because we're appointing a standing committee of the council to carry on this action before even the vote to whether it gets raised for public hearing or go to referendum as advocating. I don't think the city wants to put themselves in that position at this point in time.
Thank you. Corporate Counsel. Yes.
can I make a motion, we suspend this until corporate counsel has a chance to come back with a legal opinion on the matter?
Actually, I'm gonna ask Corporate Counsel if she can comment anything
Well, I would
on
have
the,
to,
on the resolution.
if you would like me to do further research, I can.
Didn't hear her.
Okay.
I said, if you would like me to do further research, I can.
Well, on the LEAC, the points that Nystrom brought up, I think we should have an opportunity for you to tell it. I mean, listen, I've brought resolutions already that you said they were good and then they were no good. So if this is a no good resolution, then let's see to it. We would suspend this until the next meeting and have you the opportunity to comment legally on whether or not we can do this. That's my motion.
Okay, I guess we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion purposes.
Okay, discussion.
My concern, and I hope this addresses his motion, is that the timing of this may be inappropriate based on the prohibition. Once something goes to referendum, we cannot advocate. If we have a standing committee carrying on this action, even if it's for education purposes, we run the risk of violating that part of the state statute. And I just don't want to see that happen, that's all.
Can I comment?
Yes.
As I understand it, Alderman Nystrom, the motion is to not vote on it.
Not tonight, vote.
And to get an opinion from Corporation Counsel. So we would not be, and if she determines that, or advises us that in her professional opinion, this is not appropriate, then we can remove it from consideration. Is that correct?
That's how I look at it.
believe that's what he asked.
Any other comments? President Pro Tem.
I want to be, I mean, certainly I'll defer to Corporation Counsel, and I don't have a problem with the motion. But I will say that nowhere, and I am not aware of anywhere in that state statute that says that as individuals, or I should say as individual council members, that we lose our right to advocate or work to the failure of any initiative that comes for us on a personal level. If I could start start knocking on doors in my neighborhood tomorrow and say, we're going to try to pass this. We're going to try to pass this. We're going to try to pass this, and I'd like you to support it. Okay, I can't use city resources. I certainly can't use city money. Okay, but I'm still a citizen of this city. And I have a right to my opinion, and I have a right to express my opinion. So I didn't give up those rights when I raised my right hand. Okay, but aside from that, Corporation Counsel will be the authority on that. I do not have a problem with that. So if we want to post, it actually would be a motion, it's actually a motion to postpone to a date certain, and that would be August 3rd.
August 3rd. Okay, so we got motion, we got second, and we had discussion, and yes, Alderman Zotto.
Is this the way that the committee can be said, but do they have to meet?
Sorry?
The ordinance, the resolution is about just setting up the committee, but can't we vote on it and then not just do anything until
If I may, I'm going to speak for Alderman Nystrom.
Go ahead.
I believe he's suggesting that the fact of the resolution and setting up the committee needs to be investigated by Corporation Counsel. Am I correct, Alderman Nystrom?
It's the issue of appointing one of the two major standing committees of the council to conduct this business once it's placed for referendum. I think that action itself runs afoul of the state law as I understand it, and I've sat through these discussions for years. This is formally charging a standing committee of the council to carry on this responsibility. I think that's where we run afoul. President Pro Tem's not wrong. He can advocate individually all he wants. I don't question anything he said. It's just the standing committee being placed in charge of it. I think we run the risk. We've never done this.
That's why we're going to.
Thank you. Yes, John.
Yes, I'm sorry. That was long-winded.
Go ahead, John.
There's no prohibition on the council discussing this, especially since at this point, there is no passage of an ordinance that authorizes the city to seek financing for a police station. So at this point, there is no action that would be curtailing the city to advocate, or even at this point, spend money on advocating, because at this point, there is no bonding resolution that has passed. So at this point, we're just in discussion phases, and state law is silent on before you pass a bonding resolution. So that's incorrect, respectfully incorrect. As far as after if the bonding resolution passed by the city council, and it needs, as you know, it needs 5 votes rather than the 4, it needs a supermajority. State law says that the city cannot spend any funds in advocating for the project at that point. It doesn't mean that individual council people or others cannot advocate as long as they are not using city funds. Now, there is some debate whether somebody who's 24/7, like myself, can do it on non-time, because I'm pretty much on duty 24 hours a day. I probably would refrain from that, but there is no restriction. The key is that the city cannot expend funds to promote the item, because that would be unfair. You'd have the city with funds as much as they think they would need to do it, and that might tilt the vote unfairly in that sense. That's why that's in there. So there's a two-part to the question. First, between now and the ordinance that could get passed in the future on the 17th or whenever, the 20th, whatever the second meeting in August is, the 17th, before that, there is nothing at all other that we're setting the public hearing and a possible vote on the 17th. So at this point, this resolution is just setting up a process to do that. If we want to have an informational, it was suggested that the lead agency to give that informational would be the Public Safety Committee with the assistance of city staff, including police, et cetera, finance, myself. So I think you have to truncate it into two issues. One, between now and if and when the ordinance is effective and passed, and then, okay, what is the behavior of the city if the ordinance was passed between the passage of the ordinance, the bonding ordinance, and election day? That has restrictions, but in no way does it not allow people on the city council to advocate, as long as we're not sending out a mailer saying the city council is going to have a meeting or whatever. There also could be a PAC type of funding, which is separate from the city, that could happen. So I respectfully disagree with that. By not having them now, I don't think the informational will be as good as if we have input from the city council through the representatives of the Public Building Committee.
Thank you. Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
It's my second bite, but I read the resolution as us setting up a committee to collaborate and to discuss. And I know we'll eventually have opinions on it, but nowhere in here does it say supporting. It simply says being administrative staff, executive leadership, planning and scheduling for and executing public information. So it's not us it's us providing the information you always ask us for in a different setting. It's not saying that Bill Nash supports the police department and Joe DeLucia supports, it doesn't say that. It says we're gonna provide the information to the public of what we get back on the benefits or not benefits of supporting this project at the Chelsea Groton Bank. It's an informational. I don't see anywhere in here where it says, and to endorse the purchase in the bond. Doesn't say that. It says provide information collaboratively with the citizens and the staffs. That's how I read it. Maybe I'm being naive and idiotic or whatever, but I see it as us collaborating with the community, saying this is what we have as information. What do you think? And give them a chance to talk back like they did when we talked about the city buying Norris Hospital. So
Thank you. Yes, Alderman Nystrom.
Just, my initial concern I expressed was the timing of the resolution. I think it's ill-placed from a time perspective, but the language here says is referred to referendum. The Public Safety Committee meets monthly, and every time it meets, city funds are expended. Minutes are kept, someone is paid to do that. The lights are on, funds are being expended, we're using a public facility. You can't do any of that if it can be construed as a purpose of passage of the referendum. I'm just expressing caution.
Sure.
That's all. We've never done anything like this in all the other referendums I sat through. But the Public Safety Committee is a standing committee of the council. I think appointing them at this point in time is premature, and it runs the risk of someone who doesn't like the referendum bringing this forward as a legal means of crying foul. You don't want to do that. I'm just expressing caution.
Thank you. And I'll just say my piece. Well, I can live with both ways because, well, currently we have motion and a second to postpone this for further review by corporate counsel, and it will come back to us on August 3rd. And we will be putting up our public hearing for August 17th. So I don't mind doing that, but I'll tell you the reasoning for this resolution was we want to make sure public know ins and out. What are the benefits, what are pros, what are cons, how much it's gonna cost, each and everything, so they can make good decision if we put it up for referendum. So it's kind of due diligence process, and I think for me, major catch was execute the public informational sessions, so public have the information they need. And they are in a different setup, not in this kind of decorum where we have rules and regulations and a way to conduct the meeting. So yeah, I guess if you feel more comfortable for further review, I can certainly live with that. Any other discussions at this time?
I'd like to ask the Corporation Council, without putting her on the spot tonight, but the Corporation Council wrote the resolution, analyzing it, and in consultation with our bond counsel, who is also very highly versed in the laws of issuance of bonds, et cetera. So I was very comfortable with this in discussions with Corporation Counsel on this. And certainly we could do more research, but the research was done prior to issuing this resolution, that it is a permissible resolution, or it wouldn't have been brought to the table tonight. You know, it's pretty logical that that's the reason. That's why we rely on the Corporation Council to look at our resolutions and to evaluate them for consistency in conjunction with local municipal law and, of course, state law. The other thing I just want to say at the end of this is I do find it interesting that tonight, when we were having the public hearing on the system for speed photographing license plates, there was some consternation from the audience that they wish they had a public informational before they had the public hearing. Well, we're doing this exactly like that for the police station. We want to have an informational prior to the public having to express their opinion for or against, so the council can make a learned decision on this. So, and the way to do that is to direct public safety to take the lead on that, and that's what the resolution does tonight.
Well, to answer your question, John, the resolution was drafted so you wouldn't be expending any city funds.
You might want to say that so people.
No, it was drafted so they wouldn't be expending any city funds. It was drafted so you could collaborate and get information. But I would be happy if Alderman Nystrom,
The Public Safety Committee expends funds every time it meets, and it uses a public facility. Those are my concerns. That's all.
I'm not going to debate it anymore. So,
Okay. Well, we got motion to postpone it for August 3rd, subject to corporate counsel doing more due diligence on it, just so everybody feel more comfortable about it. So we got motion, we got second, we already done with discussions.
wasn't going to go on the 3rd. We weren't going to have a public hearing on the 3rd.
There's no public hearing, it's just a
No, you mentioned
resolution.
the 3rd, that you would,
Public hearing will be on August 17th.
17th, right? You
Yes.
mentioned the 3rd. I wanted to clear
Okay.
that up.
Yeah, well, this resolution will come back on the 3rd, John. if it
This
passes.
resolution will come back to us on 3rd, after the further due diligence on
Oh,
it.
if you do that. Well, you didn't vote on it yet, so
No.
you don't know that.
We're
We're
trying to.
about to vote on it.
Right.
So, roll call, please, on this amendment.
Just to confirm for the record, please.
Yes, Alderman Hayes.
Only because there's been a lot of discussion, could you please tell me what we're voting on? Could I get the motion read, please?
So, what we are voting on right now is to postpone this resolution number 6 to August 3rd council meeting. And in the meantime, corporate counsel will do more due diligence on it. And then it will come back to us. So if findings are, it is not violating anything, it will come back to us. And if findings are in different way, then it will not come back to us. And we might have to explore a different way to get to point A to point B to make sure public have the information they need.
Okay, so can I do one follow-up question is, because I am still not quite sure with Corporation Counsel, is do they feel that they have done their due diligence, or is this something that they believe they need to do additional research? That additional research would be beneficial. I am not clear on their answer.
Do you want to do additional research? That's what she's asking. Is there a need for additional research?
I am comfortable with the resolution as it is currently drafted, but I would be happy to do additional research for those that would like it.
Okay, so even though corporate counsel is comfortable with this resolution written as is, but she don't mind doing another set of eyes or, doing more digging to it just for everyone's comfort level.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Hayes is still seeking.
Yes. Any other question, Alderwoman Hayes?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Yes.
May I friendly suggest that a bond counsel be consulted?
It was consulted.
This language?
Yes. That's true.
Yes.
Mike Andretti read this language?
Yes.
Yes.
That before. Still concerned. My concern stays, but
Fair enough, but
Yeah.
John did say that bond counsel would.
So you to take it back, or you want us to vote to postpone it? Currently.
no, I'd like to hear from Mike. I think we all would benefit by that, because I know you cannot use city funds, city facilities for any purpose after something is placed for referendum. There's no caveats where that can be waived, period. He was emphatic about that on every other referendum that we ever brought forth.
In benefit of time, I guess we have done our discussions, and
Though, we're talking about getting information and scheduling an information all, even before the public hearing, never mind before the vote to send it to referendum.
That's the point.
But this follows the vote to send it to referendum, the action of the Public Safety Committee. That's my concern.
From a standpoint, only from the standpoint that people will be able to come to the public safety meeting, ask questions about the project, and get answers from either the police chief or his designee, or, you know, we can certainly answer questions, but that, again, that was the gist of this whole thing, is that people don't feel like they can get their questions answered. This sets a process for that, to provide that, I guess is the best way to.
So I'll add something. Between August 3rd and August 17th, if everybody is comfortable with the language as is, we can still schedule informational session in between that time. Any other discussions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
I have the motion by Alderman Nash. I don't have to postpone. I wasn't sure who did the second. but I-
Second was Alderman Nystrom.
Thank you. Alderman Nash.
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes.
No.
I'm sorry, that was no?
Yes, that was no.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Karambaya.
No.
Alderman Nystrom.
Alderwoman Zuccardi.
Alderwoman Zaccardi.
No.
Alderman Nystrom.
Yes.
Jen Malusha.
No.
Mayor Singh.
Yes, motion fail, 3-4. So now we're back to our original resolution number 6, which is in front of us. And we have motion by Alderwoman, actually President Pro Tem, and second by Alderwoman Zaccardi. Any more further discussions? Yes, Alderman Nash.
Okay, how are we going to vote yes on something that was brought up by another alderman saying that he has concerns about this not being a proper resolution, and now we're going to vote yes on it? I don't understand.
Mayor Singh?
Yes.
May I comment?
Please.
I've felt, I heard Alderman Nystrom's concerns. I am assured and I have confidence in our corporation counsel and our bond counsel, and those answers answered my questions, the question that was raised by Alderman Nystrom. So I will feel that, do feel I am able to vote yes on this, given that our counsels have weighed in on it.
And I'll speak, Alderman Nash, this is more procedural thing that we are doing, right? And I told all of you that I don't have problem going either way, but, you know, I don't mind if we took it on next meeting, but the motion has failed.
Yep,
Now we'll
not
have
arguing
to
you.
act on this, what is in front of us, that's it. And we have consulted, and bond counsel was part of it, so, yeah. Any other discussion at this time? Alderwoman Hayes, now we're gonna vote on actual resolution number 6.
Correct. I'm following.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If no further discussions, it will go for the roll call now.
Alderman Nash.
No.
Alderwoman Hayes.
Yes.
Alderman Karambaya.
Yes.
Alderwoman Zaccardi.
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom.
No.
President Pro Tem DeLucia.
Yes.
Mayor Singh.
Yes, motion passes 5-2. Thank you.
New business ordinance number 1.
Can I have a motion to bring this forward for public hearing for August 17th and waive full text and reading?
Reading of the text, yes. So moved.
Motion moved by President Pro Tem. Can I have a second? Second by Alderwoman Zuccardi. Okay. Roll call?
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Yes, second meeting, August 17th.
Alderwoman Hayes?
Yes.
Baya?
Yes.
Alderwoman Zuccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
No.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes?
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 6-1.
Is there a referral?
So at this point, the citizen comment general open to the public. It's 30 minutes. Please utilize your time. One person will be given 3 minutes. Please state your name. We do have a list on non-agenda item. It's Joanne Philbrick, Rocky, Hudson, David Horse, Larry Rice, Joe McMahon, Rob Dembski. So floor is open for citizen non-agenda items.
Call the first person.
He read a list, right?
Yeah, you.
And I'm having a moment of clarity, and I would like to end this evening on a positive note. There isn't a lot to be proud of in the city of Norwich, unfortunately. We all want what's best, but we approach it from different angles. I would encourage you to be more open and more honest. I was impressed this evening by Alderman Zato. I can't pronounce your last name, so I don't want to. I was impressed by your line of questioning. Transparency is so important. Trust is even more important. I think that some of you have, either by design or default, violated the trust of many in this community. So I'll go back to, we don't have that much, in my opinion, to be proud of. One of the things that we had was our volunteer fire companies. For generations, they served. They added to the community without question. My own family, the Caseys, were very involved in EGP. So we were proud of our volunteer companies. And you took that away from us. You took it away. I don't see Chief Wilson here tonight. Haven't seen him in quite a while. I honestly believe that he was brought in to be the hitman. That his sole purpose was to create this situation that we have now. It is a sad, sad day for Norwich. My prediction is, and I've been around for a long time, people either like me or they don't like me, but I'm honest. I will always tell you what I think. My prediction is that the outcome of this will be a one-city tax with a substation fire department in each locale, staffed by paid career firefighters, because the volunteers can never go back. The trust has been broken. And my last question is, why don't you answer my emails, Mr. Salomon?
Thank you very much. Your time has been concluded. Thank you. Anyone else who would like to come on non-agenda items? Please come forward. Yes, please.
Rocky. Several things I've heard this evening that are so distressing to a citizen. Deputy Chief Lazaro explained very clearly and very eloquently that the picture are only of the plate. But then he added that an officer will review, when they review the picture, it doesn't show what's inside, but when they review, and please correct me if I'm wrong, an officer will know based on the plate whose car that is. And as we all know, officers, police officers everywhere have discretions. So my question would be, if it's Rocky, fine, fine, fine. If it's Joe Schmo, your friend, your sister, your mother-in-law, well, you know. Right? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. The officer will have discretion based on what the plate refers to the owner. It's anti-constitutional. The other reference from a big shot over there is, Walmart, Home Depot, Ring cameras. Walmart, Home Depot is a private entity. They open the doors to the public. They have the right to do whatever the heck they want. I'm a citizen. The public roads are mine, are ours. You can't dictate my liberties. You get it? The truth is, Mr. Mayor, they want to raise money. You want to raise money. Why? Because you want to spend. That's the truth. Be honest about it. You want money. And you'll get it every single time when you can, and people are gearing up to your tricks. Stop it, and open Yantic and open Taffy.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to come forward?
My name is Allison Gaylord-Loy. I live in Norwich. I want to thank the mayor and the city council for their hard work and devotion to the city of Norwich and its residents. I have a few major safety concerns for the residents of Norwich. My family came to the city because of its diversity and thought that our family would feel and be safe here. My family is ethnically and racially diverse due to adoption. We live across from NFA and love to see all of the students come and go from school, see the array of races, hear the variety of languages spoken, to know they have a multitude of talents, reflecting the diversity of the city, this country, and this world. And I would hope that all of the residents of our city would cherish these children and care about their well-being and the well-being of their families and all of our neighbors. I am worried about the safety of my children, the children of Norwich, and all of our residents due to the action of ICE across the nation, and they're not allowing the basic legal rights of residents of the country. I am wondering what the city can do to protect the people who live here. I am also concerned that if these neighbors leave, we will have more shortages in healthcare workers, particularly aiding the elderly, and all of the other jobs that contribute to our community. I am concerned about cameras, about the flock cameras that could be misused to track and target people. They are surveillance tools that invade our privacy and could be used against any of us. I'm also deeply troubled by the fact that we have unhoused people in our community and do not have shelter to offer them. And I want to feel safe in relation to all of our public safety workers. I am grateful to those who serve the public in law enforcement, emergency medical care, firefighting, and infrastructure care. But I don't feel confident that my family and my house is safe when I see public safety departments not working well together and publicly fighting, which I find disturbing. I ask the mayor and the city council to lead this community in taking care of all of our residents, housed and unhoused, so we can all feel safe. Thank you.
Thank you. David?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the council. My name is the Reverend David Horst. I live on Joseph Perkins Road. I am a member of Norwich Interfaith and Indivisible Norwich and a supporter of One Norwich Love Lives Here. There is much to be proud of in this community, and I love this city. And I appreciate this evening, and I want to commend those who have spoken with such civility this evening. I think the majority of citizens here. And I want to appeal to the minority of my neighbors and request that they stop the name-calling, the personal attacks, the rudeness, and the shouting in these chambers. We can disagree without being disagreeable. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have is Larry Rice.
Hi, good evening again. Larry Rice, 41 Will Road in Norwich. I just want to talk about the police station a little. There's more questions than answers with this. I got an article in a day paper, 2022. The request back then was $40 million. And the paper dated July 16th, just a couple of days ago, now it's up to $55 million. That's $15 million in 4 years. Somebody said there was construction in here tonight. I didn't know construction was going up that much, $4 million a year.
It is.
So we got to do something. The police station failed. The public doesn't want it, obviously. Now we're fighting to try to get it again on a referendum in November. What happens if it doesn't make it on a referendum? When you got to wait a year or 2 more years to try again? This is going. If this fails, and you don't even know if you're going to get it on the referendum first. Then, if you do, I'm doubtful that the public's going to vote for this kind of money. So, 3-4 more years, they're going to do it again, and now it's going to be up to 90 million. This can't keep going on like this. We either got to put this police station in there, or we got to do something. But this can't keep going up like this. This is ridiculous. These costs. So I don't know what you're going to do. You got a hard thing in front of you here, and I give you credit for doing what you have to do, but this is a serious problem, the cost of this. So good luck to you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Joe.
I'm just going to explain the signs. That's all.
Go ahead. Go for it. Go for it.
Good evening, council members, city manager, mayor. My name is Joe McMahon, a lifelong resident of Taft-Hill and a longtime member of the Taft-Hill Volunteer Fire Department. I first just want to clarify something regarding my 100 lawn signs that you all see around. These are free to anyone. These signs do not say, Norwich City Council sucks. No, you may drive by and see Norwich City Council sucks. But I'm going to explain to you what the sign really says. After all, I spent $1,500 on these signs, and I don't want them to be misunderstood. So, what these signs really say is this Norwich City Council sucks. THIS. This particular Norwich City Council sucks. And you wouldn't suck if you just reopened the Yannick and Taffel firehouses. Admit your blunder, call a ceasefire, and start anew. But no, instead you follow this path of insanity. I'm not quite done explaining my signs. So they say this Norwich City Council sucks, in my opinion. Every single sign says this Norwich City Council sucks, in my opinion. It is the opinion of the sign holder that you, as a municipal body, suck at your job. But the sign says more. Right after you read, this Norwich City Council sucks, in my opinion, it states, Taftville wants their volunteer firefighters back. So to be clear, what my sign says is this city council sucks, in my opinion, and Taftville wants their volunteer firefighters back. With that said, this is my 4th time speaking here. My first monologue was informing you that Taftville Volunteer Fire Department has come to my aid and my family 10 times in the last 60 years. Second, I told you about Mayor Singh lying his way through his campaign, lauding affordability, and now idly watching his teammates here dismantle 2 historic, long-time volunteer fire departments and then staffing these departments with paid union personnel. Last month, I was going to call you names for the full 3 minutes, but I only called you dumb, stupid, lacking vision, financially inept, irresponsible, moronic. You get it. But instead, I told you the story of the birth of Taftville and the beginnings of its volunteer fire service. Tonight, I have another. You're probably thinking, what's next? What now? And yes, I couldn't agree more. So what's next? What now? What's the plan? I'll go through that next month. And with that, I'd like to ask if you are here in support of the 5 volunteer departments, please stand proudly and clap loudly. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one, please. Who would like to address the council?
Good evening, guys. I wish we had this level of transparency you're speaking of when we're talking about the fire department. It's amazing. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not. It's kind of like the chief's reports. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not. It's like the circular reasoning of opinions. Sometimes they apply, sometimes they don't. It's kind of been my problem the whole time. The very first time I stood here, I asked for the information. February 10th or whenever that immediate meeting was, I wanted the information for why our fire departments were closed down. Nobody said a word. Mr. Salamone stood here and said that we should only get our information from the city. Well, where the fuck is it? It's in my email box, that's where it is. I can tell you that. Why do I have to go begging? Why do I have to go around the city learning the fire department, interviewing everybody, talking to people to get this information? Where is it? It's not being given to me, John. Plain and simple. I am happy to know I'm your favorite spokesperson, though. Touches my heart right here. I'll get you a gift next time. I'm reviewing these emails. The answers are there, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. It's amazing we rely on legal opinions. They're just that. They're an opinion. 2 lawyers go in a room, both think they're right, one comes out losing. That's the way it goes. Corporate counsel gets paid to represent the council. Her opinions are going to mirror whatever the fuck the council wants them to. That's what she gets paid to do. When council says draft me an opinion to make it this, she's going to figure out a way to do it. Mr. Salamone has taken a big beating through all this fire department thing. I don't think that's necessarily fair either. Ms. Salamone, I haven't once asked for your firing or demanded that you get booted. I recognize that you serve at the pleasure of the council, and you're required to push their agenda. It's the council's agenda. Where is that transparency? I had a problem in the public safety meeting because a one-sided game of 21 questions is not transparency. The city asking questions is not transparency. You answering our questions is. Thank you.
Next one on the list is Rob Debsky.
I've talked a lot about section of the charter, 8-17, responding to alarms outside city consolidation district. The chief executive officer, it's now the city manager, used to be the mayor. May in case of serious emergency, permit the paid fire companies maintain in and for the city consolidation district to respond to alarms outside the limits of such district, and volunteer companies to respond to alarms inside the city consolidated district. So what's a serious emergency? Is it a tool shed on fire? Is it a car accident? Is it an ice dam that needs to be removed from a union firefighter's roof? I'm told that there are all these violations by volunteer departments. We know for a fact this was blatant misuse of city equipment, city time. To my knowledge, it's not even been investigated. I certainly haven't heard of any discipline for it. But what would constitute a serious emergency? How about a fire that burns for 3 days, that requires a response from Taffville, Yantic, Ockham, EGP, Laurel Hill, Mohegan, Lisbon, Baltic, Griswold, Jewett City, Preston, 270 men, 16 pumper trucks, 3 rescues, 1 ladder, 1 tanker. And in addition to the 11 fire departments I listed, 5 ambulances from the professional ambulance service, which now is known as, pardon me, American Ambulance. That to me sounds like a serious emergency. Unfortunately, I didn't seem to see the Norwich Fire Department in there. No, they weren't there. So why is that? Because when this fire happened in 1973, the Artistic Wire factory fire, committed by a well-known arsonist, spread chemicals flammable through the facility, dynamited the water mains, set it on fire. The city executive at that time, because it was only 20 years removed from charter revision, knew the job of the Norwich Fire Department is to protect the city consolidation district. That's it. There was no need for them to be out there. It wasn't their job. It's still not their job now. It sure as hell isn't to go remove ice dams up on Elm Ave. And I want to thank Chief Tim Jenks for the report on this.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak?
I don't think he was quite civil tripping me like that. I got to start off with one of my favorite quotes from a movie. Cool Hand Luke. Remember Cool Hand Luke? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sheriff says, "What we have here is a failure to communicate." I'm a student of interactions like this, and there is a failure to communicate Because I think maybe an interpretation of what is transparent to one group is not transparent, the same definition to another group. So we have to come together somehow. I apologize if I missed the public hearing on the speed cameras. I mean, are you allowed to give me an answer as to when that was?
It was tonight.
This is the public hearing. It's a one-way street. You want to hear what we have to say, but we can't get answers from you? I don't think that's a public hearing. I think that's an information gathering on your part, and you're right to do it. I think you got to gain as much information, but give us an opportunity to ask a question. I have several questions. One of them is I have a right to meet my accusers. And in this system with the speed cameras, can someone tell me who is the accuser? Is it the company that owns the equipment? Is it the person who operates the equipment? Is it the police department's personnel that reviews that and determines whether it's a crime? Not a crime. We say it's not a crime. A ticket. Anyways, who is that? That's a question I'd like to have answered, and if this is a hearing, do I get an answer? See, I think this is one-sided. You think you're being transparent by sitting there and listening to what we have to say. I think it's transparent when I ask you a question and I get an answer. As someone said, they've been trying to email personnel and not getting answers back in return. So let's work hard to try to communicate, to give each side information that they might need. I think that's enough for now. Thank you for the time.
Thank you. And anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, please. Please state your name.
My name is Joseph. I have a question for the bond for the PD headquarters. It will equip new equipment for them, new radios, new dispatch centers, new stuff because their radio system dispatch sucks. So if the bond including them all new equipment also or no? Or is that back and forth thing? All right, oh, never mind. That's my question.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on non-agenda items?
It's 10:02.
My name is Rodney Bowie. I live at 62 Roosevelt Avenue in Norwich. And I'd like to speak about the $55 million that the city is bonding for construction of the police station. Now, the citizens of Norwich voted for $185 million for a stupid bond to break down schools and build new ones. I own property across from the entrance to the school itself on Golden Street. And I listen daily to the crushing of stone. And we're spending $185 million, I believe, for that idiotic idea of building new schools. I went up to Maine several years ago, about 7 months ago. And the school that I was raised in is still there. And it hasn't been destroyed. And they built a whole bunch of new ones. Because the high school that was there turned totally private. They were private to start with, but now they don't accept any children from the town of Yarmouth. Now, this $55 million that you're talking about spending for a police station. I've had a lot of police come to places I own several years ago. In fact, I had a policeman come over yesterday. It was about a stupid mistake some lady made. about me stealing her damn portable hedge cutter. And the officer looked at both of them and decided not to arrest me because they didn't match her invoice. Now, this was a stupid mistake on her part. Even the police arrived, and even the firemen arrived, because the woman got so excited. Now, the Norwich police arrived, and the Norwich Fire Department arrived too. There was no Taftville Fire Department. I went up there one day to give them a few bucks. And lo and behold, there was a city fireman there. Well, you can't man a station like that with just one man. But there was just man there, so what?
Please conclude. Your time has over.
Well, yeah, I'm 85 years old, sir. And if I want to get up and speak sometime, I think that's my right, whether you want it or not. I remember when this system was set in. I've been in this town for the past 62 years. I'm 85 years old, and I pay a bunch of taxes here. I own several properties on Boswell Avenue, on Roosevelt Avenue, and I own 2 in Taftville. And I can afford the taxes in this city, but the young people in this city, including most of you guys, I'm 85 years old, and I have congestive heart failure. I tell people I'm a walking train wreck. Now,
Thank you.
keep these taxes lower, and $55 million, well, who cares about that? Huh? Really? Who cares about that? You tack that onto $185 million for schools? Guess who pays that? The city says they pay 20%. Well, guess what, folks? We all pay eventually, whether it's state or city taxes. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Rodney. So time has over, and we'll have to conclude our citizen comment general at this time. But again, thank you very much for your participation, and looking forward to hear more. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Motion by President Pro Tem, second by Alderwoman Zaccardi. Roll call, please.
Alderman Nash?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hayes? Alderman Kadambaya? Alderman Zaccardi? Alderwoman Zaccardi?
Yes.
Alderman Nystrom?
Yes.
President Pro Tem DeLucia?
Yes.
Mayor Singh?
Yes, motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much.